Hello and welcome to the ABC Gamers playthrough of Starfield. Joining me is the Lone Vault Wanderer, aka Johnny Roses.
How you going, mate?
Good, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. We're going to be chatting all things Starfield, but most specifically how Starfield compares to the other Bethesda game studio games. Now, what's your history? What's your quick history on Bethesda games?
Quick history is that I got into them playing Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the game, loved the company. Ended up working there as a community manager for almost 4 years.
Crazy. Yeah. So you worked at Bethesda? Okay.
Yeah, Bethesda Softworks in Australia doing like community management stuff.
Amazing.
And then I left to kind of try and properly pursue the content creation space. So now I'm doing a lot of videos on my LoneVaultWanderer YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so,
great. And tell me about the character that you've rolled in Starfield. Just quick, show us, actually just chuck us. Did you create yourself?
I did.
Hey, wait.
A little bit.
That's pretty good.
It's when I do character creator, I tend not to go crazy with it. I'll change a few things, try and get it 90% there.
Yeah, you did the blanket like close enough, and yeah.
And you can always change it. Like, go
That's
to the surgeon in the game and change your appearance whenever you want.
Yeah.
So,
and what background did we go with and traits?
Okay, so first of all, when I was reviewing the game, I did a soldier. And I did some of the traits where, bounty hunters attack you more frequently, but when your health is low, you do more damage, stuff like that.
Yeah, the wanted, yep.
Wanted, and then a couple of the other ones. I think I did empath as well.
Oh, yeah?
Where if you do something that your companion likes, you'll get a little bit of a boost in combat.
Mm-hmm.
But I've re-rolled. It's not this character, but I have re-rolled, and I went with the adoring fan, because I just want to see what he's like in the game, approaching you.
Well, tell us just quickly, adoring fan is when...
So, dude from past Elder Scrolls games that appears, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
He just comes into your game randomly and starts talking to you.
Yeah.
And starts really pestering you.
Yeah.
But there's the benefit is that he actually might give you some cool items and unique dialogue as well. And it's just more content, so I really wanted to test that out.
Yep.
Second, I did the parents
parent trait. Yeah,
because I want to see I know you have to give 2% of your credits to your parents, which is a bit of a bummer. However, apparently they're really cool.
Hey, Dominic Toretto did say that family is the most important thing.
Family.
So, exactly. Okay, Correct. So that's a good overview of your character.
Yep.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how Starfield compares to the other Bethesda titles.
Let's do it. I mean, I feel like a good place to start is with the main story.
Okay.
Like, this is the reason why we are playing this game. It's meant to be anyways. Like, I'll get into it. But main story in Starfield is you are initially mining rocks on some sort of planet, and you find this artifact, makes you see this kind of vision or whatever. And then you hand it to this group called Constellation, who are essentially they're space explorers exploring the universe, finding all sorts of cool secrets and stuff. But the game is heavily revolved around finding specifically those artifacts.
Okay.
So that is the driving force throughout the game. You're going from planet to planet, trying to find as many of these as possible. And then I won't spoil it beyond that.
So you're telling me that Starfield's story is essentially Indiana Jones in space. We're hunting. It belongs in a museum.
Here's the thing. Todd Howard is a huge indie fan.
See,
it is.
I knew it. That making sense now. Okay.
It's happening, and he's been planning this for a while.
Now, compared to the other story, let's say Skyrim story,
yes,
Fallout,
yes.
How do we feel? Starfield, because this is a fresh IP, right?
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and I've admitted, we just recorded a TikTok where I said Fallout 3 is my favorite of all time.
Yes.
Fallout 4, Skyrim, for me personally, pretty competitive with Starfield. But when it comes to the main story, Starfield is probably the best main story BGS has ever done.
You're gonna go on record.
I'm going on record and saying that.
Saying that Starfield is the best story.
Yeah.
That BGS is. That's huge.
Yeah. And I'm not the first to say that. There's a few others that have reviewed the game and said the same. And others that don't like it, right? But for me, they've put a lot of effort into it. This is not like Skyrim, and I know there are people out there that have played the game for 200 hours and haven't touched the main story.
Right.
That's just how you play that game.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 less so. But with Starfield, don't ignore it. At least keep it at the back of your mind, progress through it every now and again, because it is just mind-blowing. Like, the stuff that you find out, the lore especially, I was fascinated the entire time, and the dialogue is really good.
Okay.
So, best, for me at least, I'd say it's probably the best main story of all time.
That is massive, and it's pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know, Skyrim was pretty sick. You get to shout at dragons, you get the dragon shout.
You
right?
do.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the story of Skyrim.
It's the Civil War
the
story.
Civil War,
You
okay.
remember?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right.
And it was good. Don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
But Starfield's definitely better. Fallout 3 is my favorite game of all time. This story it's so good.
So this is better than your favorite BGS
Correct.
game?
Yeah. Easy.
And tell me, so what's happening here? We're engaged in the story right now. Where are we right now?
So this is pretty early on in the game
Okay.
where we have obtained this artifact and we
Yes.
are meeting the Constellation group properly for the first time.
So Constellation Group is a group of
Space explorers that trying to find the secrets of the universe.
the Indiana Jones crew.
Correct. It's crazy that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's giving Scooby-Doo van cross collaboration, Indiana Jones, and we're looking for artifacts.
Yeah.
We're solving mysteries.
Correct.
Amazing.
Correct. And I don't want to spoil it beyond that because you really do need to experience it for yourself. But
Yep.
you're like, yeah, I have the artifact. We were on a planet, pirates attacked, so one of the members stayed behind. So I'm here delivering the artifact to Constellation.
You straight up glossed over so much sick.
So much sick stuff.
You use
But
a
do you want me to
pirates
spoil
attack
it for you or anyone else playing?
You're like pirates attack this, that, yada
yeah.
yada.
Cool.
So it was the best story you think compared to the other titles. We've
Yeah.
got a lot of characters here. Are you?
do.
Oh, look, I won't lie. I'm early into the game too.
Yes.
When I heard about all the dialogue that they had in this game, like hundreds and hundreds of hours,
Yeah.
I was worried that because my thing, like I play Bethesda games, Game Studio games. I like them, but I do feel bogged down a little bit sometimes. I feel like some of it's very dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
It's unless you're a lore fanatic,
Yeah.
it can be a bit much,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, you have agency. You can listen to and read through as much as you want or
Correct.
as little as you want.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Because they said, isn't this the most they've recorded for
It is
any of their games?
literally more than Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined.
Put together.
Yeah, it's like the last number that I saw, Todd talked about it last year, was 250,000 lines of dialogue.
See, to me...
It's insane.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's good for the people that love it, that's great. For
Yeah.
me, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so much. Like, oh.
Yeah, it is, but you touch on the key point is agency. So you're in a typical, dialogue tree here, right?
Yeah.
There's always the options at the bottom where you can tease out more lore and more information. But
Oh.
if you just want to progress, usually the top 2 or 3
Okay.
are the ones that you can just move to the next point without further listening to the dialogue. There's still a lot of dialogue,
Yes.
but that is the way to get through it if you don't want to really listen to it all.
So let's say no one's played a Bethesda Gamesoft Studios game before.
Yeah.
This is their first one, and they're, I won't say the word assaulted, but they are
Accosted
by all this dialogue. Because
yeah,
we got to
yeah.
remember, for the
Yeah.
people watching as well, maybe they've never played a Bethesda game before.
Fair.
How do we explain this to them?
That this is the BGS style.
Oh, this is what they do.
This is what they do, and even more so, they've amped it up by 100.
Okay.
But it is interesting characters, a lot of dialogue,
Yeah.
finding out some cool stuff, and then it's going out and questing. So
Okay.
it's I'll be honest with you, the game is not for everyone, especially because of that reason. BGS
Yes.
games aren't for everyone, but
Yeah.
if that is what you like, then definitely the game is up your alley. And of course, if you've liked Skyrim and past Fallout games in the past, this game is right up your alley.
Do you reckon there are people that loved Fallout and Skyrim who won't like Starfield?
For sure,
Really?
for sure, yeah.
Why?
I would say that probably the main reason is that you just don't like a space game.
Okay.
Because there is a particular vibe and feel going through this game.
Yeah.
It's very inherently tied to you traveling through space.
Okay.
Right?
So the theming.
The theming of space
Yeah,
and
yeah,
space
yeah.
travel.
Okay.
And if you don't like that, then you're probably just not going to vibe with the game.
Okay.
Fallout and Elder Scrolls have this special sauce where just like it's the type of world that you're in. And Elder Scrolls is obviously the fantasy style.
Yes.
Fallout is post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
If you like those settings for the way that they are, then you might not necessarily like Starfield because it's a space game. That's what I would say. But if you like the structure of BGS games, I would say there's probably something in here that you would love.
Fantastic. You know what? There are people who loved Fallout that might not have vibed with Skyrim.
For sure.
Because it's a theming thing, like you said.
When I never played Elder Scrolls when I first got into Fallout.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get into it. And then I ended up loving Skyrim.
Yes.
But it took me a while because it was the post-apocalyptic and it's like the 1940s, 50 vibe
Yeah.
that I really loved about Fallout. And Elder Scrolls is completely different from the same developer, but it's different. So, yeah, like Starfield's a new IP. It has its own vibe as well. It has its own theming. So if you don't like games like Mass Effect or other space traveling games, then you might not like Starfield.
True.
That's probably one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah. No, I love that point. Now, what's happening here? So, we're getting into the artifact hunting vibes. This is the dialogue system.
Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning. If you want more information about who Constellation is, what are the artifacts, how much you know about them, etc., you can click on them.
Okay.
But now you can say, all right, just tell me what's next.
Oh,
so,
let's go.
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the character I rolled, that we've got a series on Gamer here called Himbo Harry, and the character is very simple, very strong, and very kind. And so oftentimes when I'm role-playing, I don't really want to find out more information. I don't need the details. Who do I need to? Do I need to kill someone? I'll kill someone. You want me to deliver something? I'll deliver it. And that's actually made it a lot more fun for me, as we've discussed. Like, because I'm not too into hours and hours of dialogue. Yeah. I just want to get to the action, right?
100%.
And it pops me in. Now you just got a skill point.
I just got a skill point. We can talk about leveling and skills later because I've used console commands on a save file to get to like level 80 to really show you how it operates.
Amazing.
So
okay, yeah, cool.
And that's the beauty about this game. If you want to mod it and use console commands, you can do that as well.
Amazing.
So let's progress with the main. So yeah, you pretty much you've delivered the artifact.
Yep.
And you're going to find more artifacts in the world, and you kind of had to hunt them down. So right now, Sarah has a contact where they might have seen an artifact. Okay. I'm very loosely describing it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yep.
So we're going to go to her contact, and then eventually that'll kick that off, and then you just go through and find all the artifacts in the game.
How organic do you feel is the missions and the story unraveling for you as a player? Do you feel like it is very like, yes, I believe it, it's not contrived, I'm totally in, I'm totally immersed, or is there a jarring effect? Do you feel like you're out of it sometimes?
So, for the main story specifically?
Yeah.
There was a point initially where it felt like we were just going from artifact to artifact. And the story wasn't connecting, and I was asking, like, why are we doing this? Like, what's the point of it, right? Mm-hmm. With other, main story games from BGS, like Fallout 4 or Skyrim, you're moving on from the point to point. It wasn't just about the one thing. No. Like Fallout 4, the game's been out for a while.
Yes.
You eventually do find your son, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's another thing after that.
Yeah.
Starfield takes a while to get to that point where it makes sense why you're collecting artifacts and what they actually mean.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a slow start, and that's one of the big criticisms about this game. It is a bit of a slow start.
Okay.
But once it gets to that point where it's all clicking and you realize what these things are and what they mean and how it ends, that's really when it gets into it. Can be a little bit, it's. I enjoy it, but I've read some reviews from like GameSpot, for instance. They don't agree with the premise of how they approach space travel. It feels a little religious at times,
right?
But I still enjoy it. I thought it was very fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. So it takes a little bit of time to warm up to, but once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say most people, especially if you like BGS games, you'll like this main story.
How many hours do you think it takes to get in though? Do you reckon?
I would say 20 hours.
20 hours?
20 hours to properly give the game a solid go before you're like, this is for me or it's not for me.
Okay. And, well, you were saying as well, the disclaimer is some people already know, is this for me or if it isn't?
Yeah.
But for the people that it is for, they're going to really love it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And the beauty is, it is on Game Pass. So compared to past games where you obviously had to spend full price on purchasing the game, if you already have Game Pass, you can try it.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, then you move on to the next game. So
perfect.
That's the benefit of Starfield this time around.
Yeah, amazing. So we've been given a quest. Is this what's happening?
Yeah, we've been given a quest, so we're going to be going on to Sarah's contact. But that is essentially the premise of the main story, and that's not even touching all the faction and the side quests that they're in the game.
Oh yeah, I actually in my playthrough I accidentally joined the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, the Freestyle Rangers.
And I also accidentally joined. I joined the Navy too, which was sick. The Vanguard,
which is where we're going right now.
Amazing. So this is one of the factions that you're telling about.
Yeah. So there are several factions in the game.
Yep.
So the UC, the Vanguard, Freestyle Rangers on Aquila City, Ryujin, and I haven't even touched that storyline. They're on Neon.
Yep.
So there's a few factions in the game, and they all have quest lines.
Yes.
So the beauty about it, and we'll go talk to her contact here.
It's the Navy. Yeah.
So this is it. This is, and so when you talk to this guy, not only can you progress the main story, but he's like, "You want to join the Vanguard?
Yes.
We need more people."
100%.
And that's how you kick off.
You
got to salute. You got to salute.
Yeah.
So the thing with the faction storylines, if you go back to Fallout 4.
Yeah.
The faction storylines were kind of mixed in with the main story.
Okay.
These are completely separate, standalone. You'll spend hours doing each of them.
And do you think that's better?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's a good comparison. So you're telling me Fallout 4, were they mandatory then?
you had to choose in the end who you were going to support, right? If you remember, like Brotherhood of Steel or the Institute.
That's right.
Or you go off on your own with the Minutemen, right? But with Starfield, the main story isn't really tied in with the factions. You can do them all separately and do them all. Like, you can join all the factions and progress with the storylines and enjoy them.
I actually did think that was impressive in Constellation. I remember Sarah saying, like, the point of Constellation, and I like the imagery of it, is like, they're the sun that all these other people kind of orbit around, and like they have all these different life stories. You got ex-pirates, and you've got, and she says there are morally grey situations that 100%. You'll be forced into, and she, like, while they'll judge you, it's still like, if you're following Constellation missions and like doing all the artifact stuff, then we'll kind of let it slide. So that makes it modular then, right? So if you want to RP as an evil space pirate, you do all that Crimson Fleet stuff.
Correct.
But you can still do the main story. That's kind of cool. I respect that.
And I like they gave like an in-game lore reason as to why they don't mind that you're joining the Crimson Fleet or you're doing the Vanguard storyline or whatever it might be. So it kind of makes sense within the boundaries of Starfield. And the fact I enjoy that you can join and explore and enjoy all the faction storylines in one playthrough. So
wait, what?
Yeah, you can do them all. You can do them all.
That's crazy.
It differs. The Crimson Fleet one kind of differs, and I won't spoil it at the beginning of it. But the other one's like, if you want to join the free stuff, if you want to do the UC storyline, you can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is cool.
It gives a lot of breadth for, like, again, that RP stuff, but also I imagine the people that play these kinds of games really, really want to, like, explore every inch.
Yeah.
You don't want to be locked off from any content.
No.
So if you can do all of them.
Feeling.
It
is the worst feeling. And that does encourage either you reload your save file before you've made an important decision.
Oh, but that's classic.
That's classic. Right?
With the quick save thing, I missed quick saving. I can't remember. No, I honestly can't remember the last time I would quick save in a game.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, the other one that I'm playing at the moment, Baldur's Gate 3, has quick saves as well.
Yeah.
And I honestly forgot to, and then I made a bloody mistake.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I'll quick load. Brought me back to the start of the game. I was like, oh. So then you get back into the reflex of quick save. But you're telling me for these quests and these missions, are you implying that some of the decisions that you make will drastically alter the rest of the game?
Oh, there is choice and consequence in the choices that you make. And I haven't experienced all of them. But I will say for the ones that I have, it's not drastically affecting the outlook of the galaxy. Right?
Is that different to, say, Skyrim or, I mean, Fallout 4 probably, right?
Yeah, because it's so hard to talk about this without spoiling.
Yeah.
With Fallout 4, once you go down a particular faction line in the main story, and you've made a decision who to support, you can literally wipe the Institute off the face of the earth, right? And destroy them. But because in the main story in Starfield, it's not really tied to the factions.
Yeah.
There's no real opportunity to do that. The faction storylines you do, and there are choices within those storylines isolated, and then it doesn't really go beyond that.
It doesn't ripple out.
From what I've seen anyways, after 80
it's early days.
There's many more hours to play. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I can do is load a save as well towards the end of the UC storyline.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
To see some of the cool stuff that you do. So I want to load that up now.
Let's go for it. Johnny, where are we?
So this is kind of towards the end of the UC faction storyline. Okay. No spoilers. It's more of a combat-heavy scene.
Yeah.
But there is some cool stuff that you can do in these things.
Well, you've already got a sick minigun. What's happening?
This minigun you get as part of it.
Woo!
And you're about to... So you're on this planet, in this city, and you're having to kill a bunch of aliens.
Okay.
So this is the storyline that faction line eventually progresses to.
Amazing. And let's talk about this. Dialogue option. We've got in brackets soldier. What's happening here?
So that's because of the background that I chose. Okay. I was like, I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
And every now and again in dialogue, that option comes up, and characters are commenting on the fact that you're a soldier, and you're making dialogue choices based on the fact that you're a soldier.
Something happened. It said in the top right. It said Hadrian is more focused.
Because you said something that he vibed with, the dialogue that you picked.
So it actually it's not just flavor text, it affects gameplay.
Look, I can't say if this guy is actually more focused. Is he going to kill more enemies and be more effective in combat? I actually don't know that. It's a good question. It could be flavor, but at the very least when it comes to your companions, when you do say stuff, they'll be like, I didn't like that, and it'll make it harder for you to romance them.
Okay.
So at least for the companions, it matters. For this guy, I have no idea.
Well, I hope
so.
That'd be cool. Like, as a part of a gameplay thing, like if the AI gets tuned up a tiny bit, if they're more focused, because you as a soldier have inspired them to be like, you know, we can do this, team, or whatever, you know?
I reckon there are data miners out there that will tell us whether that's actually a thing or not.
Is that a dinosaur?
It is. So this is like, there are so many different alien creatures in the game. Have you not experienced?
I mean, I haven't met the dinosaurs yet.
Oh, dude. Okay. So there's a planet, when I show you Outpost Building,
yeah,
that is full of alien creatures like that, and it's so cool.
Oh.
But this is just one example. Through this storyline, you have to kill a bunch of aliens.
Okay, and the gun you got right now, this is a heavy gun?
So this is the one that it's a heavy. They specifically gave it to us for this mission.
I love that it's called
awesome.
Micro Gun, and it's the biggest gun I've ever seen.
And as you can see, so this is another element of the game.
Yeah.
There are unique weapons with like special boosts. So this one is plus 30% damage to aliens. So they give it to you this in the quest because it makes sense.
It's because you're killing aliens.
Yeah,
yeah.
But this is a legendary spacesuit that I have that has all these other boosts as well and benefits.
Okay.
So I like the looting system in this game. I really, really like.
Yeah.
I like how there are so many different like legendary weapons or rare weapons or whatever it might be that you can pick up.
Great. Oh, you're getting shot? What's happening?
Probably an alien attacking me from somewhere.
Okay.
Or it could be these dudes. There we go.
Can you pilot? Is that a piloted mech?
No, it's just joining us for this mission.
Oh, but it's a robot? Or
it is a robot, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You do have a robot companion called Vasco.
Yes!
Yeah, that can join you, but at the moment, Sarah Morgan is my companion.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the game. So she's joining us along.
And how are you finding the companion system in this compared to like the other BGS games?
So in terms of quest lines and romancing and dialogue, it's really involved.
Great.
So this is the counter to that. Fallout 4, for instance, had a lot of companions in the game. In terms of quantity, Starfield doesn't have as many.
Okay.
But they're more involved. So all the companions are those essentially members in Constellation.
Yeah.
So you can pick any one of them. You can romance all of them in one playthrough if you want to. You can do all the quest lines that you want. So again, there's nothing soft locking you or anything like that. But they're more in depth, but there's just less of them.
I see.
So yeah, I still think there's a good variety of companions, and you can still have other people join you along the way, but they're not the full companions like these ones.
Now for this quest that we're doing right now, we've obviously entered base.
Yeah.
We're hunting aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
And how, do you feel like the exploration, the natural inclination to go through every nook and cranny, how is that experience to this game?
Okay. I'm going to load another save file for you.
Okay.
Because this is like legitimately probably the biggest criticism that I personally have for the game.
Let's hear it. I love it.
That I really like. So we'll jump to that save file and then I'll talk about it.
Yeah, go. Oh, is this a cloaking dinosaur?
It is a cloaking, yeah. The combat in this game is pretty fun.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And you can see like a lot of these like, I don't know what they're called, but these enemies have like several health bars that you have to work down.
Okay,
they're like the brutes or the just the.
Oh, the Terramorphs. Yeah, I remember. I was fighting Terramorphs, but
so this storyline is tied in with Terramorphs.
Mine.
I'm not going to spoil you, but
mine didn't go invisible. That sounds awful.
Yeah, they get even crazier in the storyline.
Oh,
and level up to.
Oh, nice.
So I'll load that save file. We'll talk about exploration.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Johnny, tell us about exploration in Starfield.
So, there's exploration in the main cities.
Okay.
So, this is Aquila City, for instance. It's raining at the moment, doesn't look very, very pretty, but think about Fallout New Vegas. This is your Fallout New Vegas city. Effectively. Cowboys, Western vibe.
Oh, the Freestar Collective.
Freestar Collective.
Okay.
This is where they're based.
Amazing.
So, there are main cities and then other settlements in Starfield as well. So, the main ones are like Aquila City, New Atlantis, Neon, and Sidonia.
Yep.
Other settlements, other towns as well, like Hopetown, for instance. So when it comes to exploration with these cities, they're huge. Like New Atlantis is the biggest city that BGS has ever done.
Okay.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed exploring the cities, talking to all the people, figuring out what was going on. So there's exploration in that sense, but then there's also exploration when it comes to all the planets. in the game. So there is 1,000+ planets in Starfield, but there's no way that you can do that without procedurally generating a lot of that content. So the way that it's meant to work is like, all right, I'm here. I want to go to another planet. So I'm going to pull up my menu.
Yep.
And this is the star map. So the star map, and you're going to see the scale of this game in terms of how many planets there are.
Okay.
So we're on Aquila City. I'll zoom out. This is the specific space system that we're in.
Huge.
Right? So tons of planets, tons of moons, just within this space system. But then you pull out even further, and these are all the star systems in the game. I said space systems. Star systems in the game.
Yeah.
And some of these points also have 2 stars, because that's how, in space, you can have 2 stars that kind of orbit each other. So some of these are 2. So I was just in Cheyenne in this one. But even if I wanted to go to the other one, in this star system, there's a whole different group of planets tied with it. Look at how many there are. It is.
Johnny, I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling overwhelmed, just like with all the dialogue options.
Yeah.
This is so much.
It is a lot. It is a lot. So this is the criticism that I personally had with Starfield, and that I mentioned in my own review.
Yeah.
Is that, let's say you want to go to a planet.
Yeah.
Do I know I'm going to find something interesting there? Is there going to be some handcrafted content that BGS has done? What's the reason for me to pick this random star and go to it and hope that I find something? And I will show you. Like this planet here, we'll go to it, explore, and land on it. But what if I don't find anything that's particularly interesting? Every planet has something. Yeah. But it might just be like a random outpost or something that you can, like a cool natural resource that's nice to look at, but once you've seen it, you're done.
So, because that's the those are the drawbacks to procedurally generated content, right?
Correct. It's like I'm worried that if I'm spending hours going from planet to planet, potentially or not find cool stuff, then I'm wasting time not actually doing a quest line or a storyline or like experiencing the actual content that BGS has created.
But so comparing this to Skyrim and Fallout, how much of Skyrim and Fallout is procedurally generated in the same way that Starfield is?
From my understanding of how they created those worlds is that they'll initially create the world with some degree of procedural generation, but then they'll add stuff to it. It's just a different kind of exploration in Starfield, because when you're playing Fallout 4 or Skyrim, you're in the map, you just walk, and you're bound, it's tough to cough and not bounce into something that's actually interesting. Because they're filling the world with as much stuff as they can. But with Starfield, because they've procedurally generated literally 1,000 planets, they're not all going to have something that you can instantly bump into and think, oh, that's interesting. You kind of have to go to a planet and hope that there is something there.
Right.
Unless there is a quest line pointing you to a planet, and it's like, well, there's definitely something cool there, because there's content that we've added there, and because you're going there already for a quest line, we'll add some more interesting stuff that you can explore. But if you're just going to a random planet to explore, it's mostly about resource generation and surveying. So it's like, all right, well, there's life signs there. There's a natural formation over there. There is probably a structure or something over there. So that might be like an outpost or a mine or something like that.
So you got your scanner out and you're looking at these points of interest. And so you've landed on a fresh planet. We're like, these are things we can explore. Tell me about how you feel about this exploration, like going, land, because as soon as you landed, stepped off the ship. So I saw a purple planet. I was like, that's pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool looking planet.
Pretty cool.
Pretty looking game, in my opinion. Honestly. Yeah.
But now I want to see. So now we're walking to this point of interest. Pretty flat.
This is it.
Okay.
This is the experience. So when you get to this point, it might be something cool. Again, it's part of the surveying system where you can survey something, survey some resources along the way, and hopefully see something cool and interesting along the way. And that's part of the, it's this emergent gameplay with BGS where you're doing this stuff and a quest line might pop up or a character shows up or something interesting or random happens that you're hoping to get those moments. But it's not always guaranteed. I've been to many planets where it's just, I'll see this kind of formation here. And I'm like, well, this is cool looking. And then part of the surveying system, you're like, all right, I need to discover this formation, and it'll show up as a trait on the planet. A
trait?
It's just called traits. So a coral pond is one of the traits on this planet. And there are 2 others that we need to do in order to completely survey this planet.
So this planet has a trait, just like your character can have a trait.
Yeah, but it's kind of a different trait. Different kind of trait, but it's tied in with surveying. So the idea is you go to a random planet, you find a bunch of resources. So this planet has 2 different resources that you can survey. It has 3 traits to find. And once you've done that, you've kind of done the planet. Unless there's a quest line attached to it, which this one I don't believe that there is. So there's uranium here, and there's iridium here. So I found the 2 possible resources available on this planet.
On the left it ticks it off.
Some planets have way more and are way harder, and there are animals as well, and alien creatures that you can
just scan the aliens.
You can scan the aliens as well. But with this one, there's not that many. So this is the thing about exploration in Starfield. How do you know that the planet that you're going to is fun? has a lot of cool, interesting stuff to do.
Yeah.
If there's a side quest pointing you there, then you're guaranteed to see something cool. But if there's not, that's the thing that I struggled to vibe with in this game. So part of me almost wishes they just created 3 or 4 really packed in interesting planets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
make it more dense.
Correct.
And yeah. Because, I mean, this whole surveying thing, like, is it fun?
I don't think it's too much fun. You're doing it, you get a lot of experience through this system.
Okay.
You get resources through this system. So if that's what your prerogative is, great. You know?
Okay.
But this was probably the least enjoyable part of the game for me.
Okay.
A game that has so many other things for you to enjoy.
Yes.
But admittedly, this is like pretty empty planet.
Yeah. Okay, tell me, sorry, something just happened here where I see a red bar climbing up.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening here?
So there's a oxygen system in the game where anytime you do something like jump or run, like sprint, you'll use up your oxygen.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to a point where your oxygen meter completely runs out and you'll start to build up carbon dioxide or CO2.
It's in your suit.
In your suit system filtration.
And that's bad for your health, just like real life. This is,
Correct.
hey, this is science in action.
Right? And then when your CO2 meter builds up too much, you can still run. It'll actually affect your health.
Will you get blurry vision?
It'll just like you kind of do get blurry vision.
Yeah.
But it will decrease your health. So
your health, your hit points go down.
Yeah, your hit points go down. It's kind of slow, but
You must have so much health.
I have a decent amount of health with this character.
Yeah.
And you can't sprint anymore now that the CO2
it
meter's
stops.
built
Yep.
up.
Yep.
But look how slow, like the health meter is going down pretty slowly.
You little ticks. Yeah.
So it's like it's there.
So it's the stamina.
It's the stamina.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And I as this is a general thing, I just want to be able to run in a video game. I don't care about stamina.
Yeah, neither.
So one of the first skills that you try and increase is how much oxygen that you have.
Okay.
So you can keep running and doing this stuff.
Now, does that impede exploration? Do you feel?
It
Having,
does.
like, a limit.
Yeah. When there are these big planets and you don't have a quicker way to get from spot to spot.
I was about to say, you know what would help is a
bloody
vehicle.
vehicle.
a little speeder bike.
A little Mars rover or something.
Yeah, I
wonder.
I wonder why. I get it. I understand immersion and being like, take the time to enjoy where you are.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it could have been kind of fixed with like, hey, a bike, if you want to get to a point quicker, you can. If you want to explore, you don't have to ride the bike.
Yeah, the idea that I had is if you want to keep it in with what you've built in the game, like the boost pack.
Yeah.
So there are different types of boost pack. Like this one that I have, for instance, is a super high jump. Whereas others are like, you can do multiple little jumps at a time.
Yep.
Have a mod that lets you just shoot across horizontally.
Like a dash.
Like a dash. To get to points faster. There is a slide in the game, technically. I don't have it activated.
Right.
But I feel like that would have been at least cool. But then it would have still been tied to oxygen as well.
And it's to the theme of the game, like it's space, like sci-fi. Yeah, we invented a jetpack that pushes you across quicker.
It would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
as opposed to someone sliding for like a kilometer.
Yeah. And you only have a certain amount of boost, so that could only be done for a certain time. So look at how long it's taken me to get from these different spots.
And now you're out of oxygen, you're
out of CO2, and then I'll have to walk for a little bit. So that is, for me personally, my least favorite part of the game.
Is it now? You're level 30 something as well. Like this isn't. So you've built up enough oxygen in your character, like.
I think I have 1 in oxygen.
Yeah.
But I can get to rank 2.
Okay.
And there are certain things I won't spoil in the game that help you with your oxygen situation. So if you do want to increase your oxygen through the skill, you can. So I'll just I don't have any skill points, but I will show you what that looks like later.
Amazing.
But if you want to do that, fine. But this doesn't help you with the situation of when you do run out of oxygen, it needs to refill. Okay. So eventually you're going to run out of it. And on a big planet like this, 30% doesn't matter. You will run out of oxygen.
Yeah. And that it is going to then stifle your exploration. And,
for sure.
Because I don't remember that being such a thing in Skyrim or Fallout. But I wonder if that's also because those worlds seem a bit more dense, that you're not running so much anyway.
Correct.
Like, remember Skyrim? I remember just running and then there's a cave or a group of bandits hanging outside a cave or
You're
whatever.
always bumping into
stuff. Yeah,
constantly.
and you're like, oh, hang on. And Fallout was great for that.
Yeah, for sure. And look, if you're in Starfield and you're in a big city, you're going to be bumping into interesting stuff all the time.
Yes.
They've done a good job with the cities and at least the settlements and towns that they've built.
Yeah.
But this whole 1,000 planet system thing, that is, I see where they were going. The idea is you're exploring this huge open world space, and this is probably what exploring space in real life would be like.
It'll be barren, yeah.
It would be barren if we could do it. But does that make it fun for a video game?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Do you think that they were doing a thing where it's like for future DLCs type thing, where it's like maybe
Possibly.
we've got the skeleton of a planet there,
Yeah.
and then later, in a couple of months, we've got the Purple Planet DLC. It's like
They could, and modders as well can do whatever they want with a planet too. But I don't know what they're going to be doing with DLC.
Yeah, true.
And they might build in something completely new on a planet, or they might not. It might be just with the existing location. So this is what it is practically, exploring a brand new planet that we've just fast traveled to.
So what are those spinny? What are they? What's
It's just wind turbines building power. So there are planets that you go to that people there are settlements that people have already built on. So there are NPCs that you can talk to on some of the planets.
Oh, so someone else built this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all procedurally generated.
Ah.
So if you were to go to this same planet in your game, it would look different.
Okay.
It'll be different outposts, different structures for the most part.
Incredible.
Some planets have the same stuff, but a lot of these other ones, from my understanding, they can be different. So that is exploration in Starfield.
All right, Johnny, it's time to do some combat in Starfield.
Yeah. I mean, this is what a lot of people want to get into the game.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
To shoot some people and alien creatures. So
Yeah.
right now, we're doing a mission where I think we have to kill a gang leader or something like that.
Okay.
So these are missions where you can pick up on a mission board and just do them for some extra credits and some extra experience points. So this is what I mean about, there's a quest line pushing you to this planet, so there's something interesting here for you to do.
Amazing.
So there's an abandoned cryo lab, and we're going to go in. There's a bunch of enemies for us to kill.
Great. So with Starfield, we got, obviously you're shooting guns, very different to Skyrim.
Yeah.
But let's compare this to, say, the Fallout series in terms of, when I think combat, I'm thinking about variety of enemies, I'm thinking variety of weapons.
Yep.
Talk me through it. What do you reckon? Let's compare them.
Okay, so with... Oh, that's my companion.
Oh,
my
hey.
bad, Sarah. So with enemies, starting off, there's a lot of human enemies.
Okay.
Right? There's no humanoid aliens in this game.
Okay.
You've either got humans or alien creatures. With the alien creatures, a lot of diversity with how many that there are.
Okay.
Every planet seems to have something that looks really different. We just saw that dinosaur-looking thing in the quest line. You can get bird-looking creatures and other really cool stuff. So there's a lot of different alien creatures, and they really fit the kind of theme of the planet that you're on. So I think Bethesda did a great job with that.
Great.
With humans, as you could imagine, there's a lot of different factions in the game. So these people are called Varun Zealots. Essentially, this religious organization, and these guys are an offshoot from them.
Okay.
So they're everywhere, and they'll shoot you and kill you. There are also spaces in the game, where essentially they're raiders. There are Crimson Fleet, who are raiders, but they can be reasoned with a little bit. And then other kinds of factions as well. So you either got your humans or your alien creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with combat, in terms of mixing it up and different combat styles, let's say, I know that classic Skyrim, Fallout, BGS, you can go stealth, you can do your sneaking around type of combat.
Yeah.
You can do, I guess, up close melee. You got a shotgun right now. How do we mix it up in Starfield?
So there are different types of ways of playing.
Yep.
If you want to sneak, you can sneak. There's a skill that you need to get to do that. But then there are silence weapons in there. You can mod your weapons to be how you want them to be. So sneaking is definitely viable in this game.
Yeah.
I would say, from my experience, probably not as effective like it was in Skyrim, your Stealth Archer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Stealth Archer in Skyrim was so overpowered.
That's true. That's
you know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah.
And in this game, because the worlds are so vast, sneaking around everywhere can take a little bit of time.
I'll tell you, your oxygen's going low.
Yeah. So it's a option, but not my favorite. And then obviously you have your big guns in the game as well.
Yeah.
You have shotguns in there. You have different types, so you have ballistics and lasers and stuff. And this is probably a good time for us to talk about leveling as well.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So this is what can dictate your playstyle, though eventually you can get all skills if you want, because there's no level cap in the game.
Yeah.
But for me, for instance, I've picked ballistic weapons, and I usually use rifles. So that's technically my playstyle.
Yeah.
But if you want to use a bit more of a melee playstyle, you can increase your melee damage. You want to use unarmed weapon or unarmed playstyle, you can do that as well. There are laser weapons in the game, pistols as well, shotguns. Tons of different weapons.
How does this skill progression compare to Fallout? Because I can't even remember. In Fallout, do you have a skill tree? You know,
Yeah.
you've got this special...
You have the special stuff that every time you level up, you get a skill point. Or
and
a
then
point.
perks, right?
Yeah, that you can just allocate and then rank up as you go.
But this seems to be more tied to, at least for the combat with the weapons, is specific weapon types. So you got your rifles, and if you want to level them up, you give the challenge, right? You got to kill 50 enemies and stuff.
So this is the thing, and I've just exited. So this system is like a mix between Skyrim and Fallout 4.
Oh.
So the reason being is like, all right, I've got some skill points that I can use here.
Yeah.
Let's go. I want to start using pistols as an example. I can instantly pick this so long as I have a skill point to do so.
Great.
But if I want to progress this skill and get it more powerful, that's when you need to start completing the challenges. So now that I've unlocked this skill, now I can start killing enemies with a pistol. And once I've killed 20, I'll be able to go to the next one.
And then spend another skill point to
Correct.
rank it to 2. So that, because Skyrim, I remember you would like blacksmith was it blacksmithing?
It was everything.
Yeah, like you'd do it enough times and it would
Yeah.
level up. So that's what that is.
Essentially. And
Okay.
but it's like Fallout 4 that you can just select the base skill if you want to. Instantly. So it's kind of like a mix.
Okay, and do you like that?
I do actually, because one, it allows you to at least try the base version of a particular weapon.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to try a laser weapon. So they're pretty
Wait.
but also, like, you have to work for it. If
Yeah.
you want to progress laser weapons, you have to start using laser weapons.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to progress your pistols, same deal. So I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
And I think combat in this game is pretty fun. It's definitely improved the shooting in terms of over Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Feels pretty smooth. AI can be a little bit janky at times.
Right.
But I think they've done the system pretty well.
Yeah.
Um,
How's the AI janky in the combat?
Because sometimes they just don't like shoot at you properly or recognize you.
What, like stormtrooper vibes, or do you
Kind
mean...
of, yeah. But then other times they'll
Well,
wreck
they're
you.
like, he's
Yeah.
getting away.
Like, especially with spaceship combat, and that's a whole other thing that we'll
Okay.
talk about.
Yeah.
They can wreck you. But here, sometimes I'm just like you've noticed I'm not really worried. Like,
yeah, you're just
I'm
chilling.
just kind of chilling. And the game is on normal, so it's not like super hard.
Oh, okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
You're also demolishing... Your weapons are so much stronger than theirs.
yeah, I am leveled up a little bit. So I'm pretty sure it's either my gun or my spacesuit that
Yeah.
randomly enemies can just get on fire. which is another little benefit.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I actually like combat, and the enemies like they do some cool stuff when you kill them. Like, so sometimes they'll get scared and they'll run away, and then
Yeah.
you can hunt them down. Other times they'll like crawl to the ground, be like, don't kill me, and then you can finish them off or leave them if you want to.
Grim.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal at times, but I like combat in Starfield. It's if you've played Fallout 4, you know what you're expecting. In this
Okay.
game.
Do you know what I thought was cool was the gun feel is great. Like the reloading, the shooting. I thought the reload animations just feel so. There's like a chunkiness.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like the sounds as well for the guns were
Yeah.
really. I think they probably took a lot of time.
For sure.
But one thing, I mean, again, I'm early days in the game. Is one thing I felt there could have been more of earlier was a gun variety. Like, I can't tell you how many maelstroms I'd be picking up.
Yeah.
Like Grendels and like.
Yeah.
I just was wishing for a little, let's compare this to, outside of Bethesda games. Like, you look at your bloody Borderlands, like, so, that is probably too wild.
That is crazy.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And some of those guns are just, like, the color's different and a little bit different. But the guns, I just felt like there could have been more. Don't you reckon?
I think part of the problem is that, especially in terms of design and weapon style, they all kind of blend together. Like,
yeah, like, let me just cycle through. So what do we got?
I'll go to a experiment A7.
Okay.
And then I'll go to
Wait, shoot that. What kind of gun is this?
This is a shotgun, right?
Lordy. Okay.
And then I'll go to this skip shot calibrated
Wait.
Bridger, which is like an explosive weapon.
That's sick.
This one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of samey.
Yeah.
The thing that I liked about Fallout, especially Fallout 3, is that they had those unique weapons where,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like they felt very different from one another.
Couldn't you get like wait, am I making this up? Couldn't you get a like a UFO laser gun or something?
100%.
That was cool, man.
That was cool, but I don't know if you can get this in this game. Like
in a space game. Come on.
I'm sure you can. Look, I'm sure there's a random weapon on a planet that you can find. That's really, really cool.
It'd be sick, like the
Yeah.
the classic grey alien, and then,
There might be some
That'd be
cool, because
cool.
I haven't experimented too much with pistols. Maybe I have a pistol here that I can show you. But I was mostly rifles and shotguns.
Okay.
But like, Yeah, I think the weapon diversity is fine, and it could have been a lot better.
Yes.
And especially the one thing that I personally don't like the direction BGS has gone is the naming convention with their weapons.
Okay.
I get so confused with what's going on because you mod these weapons, it gives them a completely different name.
Like the instigating or the like that thing.
Yeah, well, like I don't know if I have anything to show you, but like the Grendel becomes a modified scoped Grendel, and there's all these different names for the Grendel. I'm like, just call it a Grendel.
Right.
And just tell me the mods that I have.
And add it on top.
Yeah, I get confused with it.
Well, one thing that I found was annoying too is when you come across a modified gun, just like here. Wait, look it down there.
Yep.
Sometimes it's fine, it's blue or whatever, but it'll be like extended mag modified scope this, and then the name of the gun doesn't even fit in the thing.
Yeah, so
you
this
don't even know what it is.
Space Adept UC Naval Cut Class. I'm like, it's too confusing.
It's too, yeah.
Just call it a broadsword or something.
Yeah,
not that. But
so we know what it is. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's difficult to recognize these weapons like you can in Fallout. They're so visually distinct in Fallout.
Fallout was a different. I guess it's a different aesthetic and
it's a different beast.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I still really do like combat in Starfield.
Yeah.
But certain aspects, I would prefer Fallout 4 vibes.
Can you go back to? I don't know how hard it is for you to navigate back to, but I know that you were doing some lockpicking.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've got a safe file for that.
Sick. I would love.
I know
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
I know exact one which that is. House of Rune Embassy. So there is a new form of lockpicking in the games called digipicking.
Let's show when it's shown.
It's hard to describe.
No, I love it because Skyrim and Fallout had their own form of it.
Yeah, so Skyrim was obviously lockpicking.
Yes.
Fallout was lockpicking, but then there was also hacking terminals as well.
Yes.
Everything that you hack in Starfield, it is this
a digipick.
Digipicking.
So you're holding it looks like a telescope.
Kind of, yeah.
And so this is some kind of software. Do you know what I mean?
I think so.
Yeah,
it's like a hardware that you can use to look into the locks of a system.
Okay, yeah. So
it's so hard to describe.
So what's happening here? We've got.
So you've got essentially different spaces that you need to fill.
Yep.
And different shapes for which to do that.
Okay.
But you can't just do it in any random order. So as a hypothetical, let's go to this one.
Yeah.
This might fit, but it might not actually be the one that you need to use right now.
You might need it later because it also fits. So it's concentric circles of gaps.
Yes.
And we're going from outside circle to inside.
And depending on the security level, there are different numbers of layers. And you might need a particular shape for another layer later on. And especially when you get to expert level difficulty, it gets really, really hard like that. This one might be a little bit more simple. So I'm pretty sure it's this one. And then I would say maybe it's this one just based on visuals. Which it is. And then you'll go to the next layer.
So this is essentially a puzzle.
It is. And it's pretty cool.
Okay. Compared to Skyrim and Fallout's lockpicking, how do we feel?
It's so iconic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I like this system. It can admittedly get a little complex. Like, so
Okay.
right now, I'm pretty sure I'm just like, I've used the wrong shape because I can't find, from what I have left, I can't find what fits.
What do you do now?
So you have to undo it, and then you waste a digipick.
Oh,
yeah. So that's how it works.
You burn it. Okay, okay.
And now you can build up auto slots where if I hold Y, it'll tell me this is exactly the shape that you need in the order that you need to press it.
So it's like a clue.
Correct, yeah. Because some of
right.
these shapes you can do in multiple spots,
Yes.
but it might not be the spot that's correct for the digipick.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm like, okay, it's told me which is the correct one, so the next one probably has to be this one. And then you get to that, boom.
Hooray.
You've unlocked it.
Now, and you've also skilled up on lockpicking. Now,
Correct.
the Skyrim one, was that the one where it was the cross section and you had to pick?
Yeah,
I
so
don't remember.
you're lockpicking.
Oh no, it was you're facing the lock and
Yeah,
you're doing that.
Yeah. None of that in this.
And
None of that stuff.
Fallout, what was Fallout similar to Skyrim?
It was pretty much that system, and then it was terminal hacking where... Oh, there's another one here. So you'll get into a terminal and you try to have to guess the password.
The words you'd
yeah.
match. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But this is kind of consolidated all of that
Just to one system.
into this one system that's, you know, if you like... I like that they give you the option to forego it. Do you remember Bioshock?
Yeah.
Do you remember hacking in that?
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it?
Bioshock is like my... Next to Fallout 3, probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay, Bioshock. I love the game. The thing I didn't appreciate after a while was diminishing returns. I didn't like that I was getting chased by these crazy hook flesh monsters
What?
people.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, I've got to hack this terminal. And it's like, oh, now you have to push all the fluid from one side of the terminal into another. Ooh,
I don't know why
Twisted.
I liked it. I like changing the shape and doing.
It was the game. Do you
cool.
remember? Do you ever play Pipe Dream?
No, I've never played Pipe Dream.
Pipe Dream is this Microsoft. Back when Microsoft used to ship games to their PCs, you had Space Pinball, classic, Solitaire.
Yeah.
You'd have Pipe Dream, dude. Pipe Dream was the BioShock hacking game where you had like pipes at different like patterns, like an X pattern and an elbow pattern, and then it would flow through, and you have to put all the things in the right spots to. Anyway, point is,
pretty much.
that sometimes when I play this, when I get to a bloody frickin' digipick, I'm like, dude, I just want the stuff.
Fair enough. I get it.
I don't want to.
But it is so tied in with BGS, right? Like there had to be some sort of mini game tied in with that.
Yeah.
So I like it. Yep. Some others might think that it's tedious, and if it is, you increase the skill to improve your ability to do it.
Get good.
Yeah. Get good, right? But I think we've pretty much covered like the main aspects of the game, aside from spaceship stuff and outpost stuff. There's so much that Starfield has.
Yeah. And so compared to the other franchises, just to wrap it up, compared to Fallout, compared to Skyrim, how do you feel about Starfield amongst all these different systems, characters, exploration quests?
I said when I did my review that I don't believe for me that Starfield is hitting the heights of Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Okay.
Those games just have this special formula that it comes together so well, and it just feels magical at times. Starfield, I think, is a very good game, and I predicted it was like an 88 out of 100 is probably a fair score for it.
Okay.
And that's ended up what it got on average. But it's hard to create a new IP that has that magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, with Fallout, they lightning in a bottle. With Elder Scrolls, lightning in a bottle. But you can't force that with a new IP. So I think they've done a really good job with Starfield. I still really love it, but not quite those other games
there
for me.
yet. Yeah. The best thing is you can play those games.
And here's the thing: you might, after 300 hours of playing Starfield, and be like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. Because in 80 hours, you are not experiencing enough of this game.
No.
There are faction lines and huge side quests that I have not even touched.
Exactly.
So ask me again in 200 hours.
Yeah, and if you're not the kind of player who could play 200 hours or even 80 or even 20 hours of these kinds of games, hey, Tears of the Kingdom, great game.
Yeah.
Beautiful game. We got Spider-Man coming out next month.
Yeah.
Sick game. There's options out there. Just play them. But if you like Bethesda games, give this one a go.
For sure.